broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web. You're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
We think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty. Welcome to RadioAMB. We're designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Smucker, a licensed cosmetologist who's been in the beauty industry for over 40 years. RadioAMB stands for American Made Beauty, and it's where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our segment sponsor today is Mad Flower, our newest American-made beauty verified brands, sensual and indulgent essential oils for face and body. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com and find beauty products and services that meet a strict standard that reflect their American heritage. My guest today is a gentleman who has been involved in helping to shape and bring to market some really iconic brands. Murphy Bishop is the founder of Bleu Brand Development and CEO and co-founder of Better Skin Company. With more than 20 years of experience, Murphy is a highly skilled beauty sales and marketing executive and someone that I really have admired and watched his great work. His career began at Estee Lauder, where he spent 5 years learning the business. He began on the flagship Estee Lauder brand before moving to Bobbi Brown, where he worked closely with Bobbi and her core management team. Murphy has also served as an integral part of Stila team with the original founder, Jeanine Lobell. He went to work for a number of other iconic brands like Victoria's Secret's Beauty, Bare Essentials, Molton Brown, and Butter London before founding his current business, Bleu Brand Development and the Better Skin Company. I'm delighted to have Murphy with us, and he'll be with us during the whole show, where in our feature segment we'll talk a little bit about his backstory and some of the things that he has learned in working with some of the founders of some iconic brands. We'll, in our second segment, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that are unique about his new Better Skin Company brand. In our third segment, we'll talk a little bit more about how he's bringing those products to market, and if you're a brand owner, some interesting concepts or interesting tips about working with DRTV. And then in our final segment, we'll talk a little bit about some of the other channel partners that Murphy is working with and some of the ways that other brands can get traction in the marketplace. So I'm delighted to have you with us, Murphy.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. As you know, I'm incredibly passionate about our business, so I just can't wait to tell everyone more about the Better Skin Co. and also about how Bleu Brand Development is helping other emerging brands make their way to market.
Great. So, Murphy, let's start at the beginning, because I know a lot of people would be interested to learn how you started in the business.
Excellent. Well, you know, Patty, I never intended to be in beauty. When I was in college, I graduated with a degree in finance and marketing, and upon graduation, I had 4 job offers. 3 were from financial institutions, which seemed really boring, and 1 was from a department store. And the department store was also moving people to Nashville. And at that time, I lived in Birmingham. So Nashville seemed like a really big city to me. So I'd never planned to be in retail, but I took the leap and went to manage a department at the Parisian department store. Great Southern department store. It unfortunately no longer exists, but back in the 90s, they had a phenomenal management training program. So I eventually landed myself as the cosmetics manager. And at that time, I was very young. I was right out of college. And in those days, many of the people in the cosmetic department were career cosmetic associates. and they started there when they were young, and they would retire from there. So they really had these incredible books of business that they had cultivated over many, many years. And it was just all very fascinating to me, the whole aspect of how loyal someone was to a brand, the service aspect of it, and also what people were getting out of their brand. So whether it just made them feel good, or whether it reduced fine lines and wrinkles, or maybe it was because of the relationship they had with the associate or the store. But I was really amazed by all the different facets of the business, because at the end of the day, it was more than just a product in a jar. Mm-hmm. So I managed that department, and I would see all of my vendor reps coming and going. And I thought, that seems like a better job, because they get to leave. They would all come in, they would take me to lunch, we would do some fun, exciting planning, and then they would drive away and go. Most of them would go back to Atlanta. Uh-huh. So I thought, wow, that looks really interesting. So I made friends with all of them, and when a position came open, they let me know, and I interviewed. And at that time, the assistant to the executive was called an account coordinator. But basically, you were an assistant. Uh-huh. So what I did was I moved to Atlanta with the Estee Lauder companies, and I was a coordinator for Atlanta and Chattanooga. So really, my job was to drive to each Parisian store in those areas, and I would do the training, I would do the event. I was sort of like the executive mini-me, uh-huh. except the executive got all the credit, which was fine at that point. I was just happy to be with the Lauder companies.
Right.
So everything went really well in Atlanta, and Lauder offered to move me to Los Angeles. And as someone who grew up in the Deep South, I was ready and willing to go anywhere because I wanted adventure. So I moved to Los Angeles with Estee Lauder, and I took on the Parisian account. Well, Estee Lauder in California is very different than Estee Lauder in Georgia.
I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and that being because in California, the trends were very, very different. Mm-hmm. You had brands like MAC and Smashbox and all of these sort of cool, hip brands, which pushed Lauder down the food chain a bit. So in the South, where we were number one in every door, I come to L.A. and we're number 4, 5, or 6.
Oh, wow. But
yeah.
It was a rude awakening, right?
It was definitely a rude awakening, and it also taught me a lot about business, because the challenge that I was given was to get the brand into a solid top 3 position. Mm-hmm. So I took that challenge, and what I did was I assessed the L.A. market. I looked at the talent we had. I looked at the customer who was shopping, and we put a plan in place to attract different types of talent. Mm-hmm. Because at the time what happened was Lauder would hire them, give them this great training, and then they would immediately leave and go to these sort of cooler, hipper cosmetic brands.
Oh, uh-huh.
So we knew we had to put a stop to that, but we also knew we had to make Lauder a little more cool, a little more hip, and really a place that these artists would want to be. So that's exactly what we did. We put our emphasis back on the makeup. We put our emphasis back on the artistry. We started hiring artists as opposed to just salespeople, and we really focused on competing with the people that were beating us, mm-hmm. whereas in other parts of the country we just muscled our way past them. So it worked really well, and we did get into the top 3. And it took a good year and a half to 2 years, but everyone was thrilled, and that led to my first executive level job.
But Murphy, I think that's really, I want to pause you there, because I think that's really interesting in terms of the dynamics that this young man coming from the Deep South, coming to L.A., what was it about that gave you that clarity, that strategically you needed to take a different approach that got you those results?
Well, that's really easy, because all of the few friends I had at that time were of the younger, hipper, cooler mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And those brands, the Macs of the world, the Smashboxes, the Stilas, that's where they were shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said to them, I said, guys, why are you going there? We've got this amazing product backed by all of this history, and we can give you, basically we can give you the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, they laughed at me.
Mm-hmm.
They said, like, your marketing doesn't speak to us. There's no artistry at your counters. We don't need a $70 moisturizer. And they were right.
Mm-hmm.
They needed somebody who understood them as a consumer, which meant, sure, they cared about their skin, but they also wanted a touch of artistry.
Right.
They also wanted the newest colors. They wanted pigmented colors. And they also wanted to see people like them working behind the counter.
Great point.
So that was very important to them. And at the time, we had a lot of those career professionals who had been there for many, many years. And so I just went to all of them, and every time we would have a position come available, I would talk to them about, family members, or if they maybe had a daughter that wanted to get into the business, or if they knew someone. And we really started recruiting sort of from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want them to feel like that we were drastically changing things. I wanted them to feel like that they were coming along on this new journey with us. So we had some of the women who had, daughters graduating from high school, and they said, well, sure, she'd be happy to, check it out. And initially we would hire them as freelancers, so they would get to work the events. And events were always much more fun. I mean, there was music and there was artistry and there were all of these things. So we really sort of set the stage that way, and then we would recruit them into working behind the counter. And it really just changed the dynamic, and it made us more appealing to a different demographic, but it also excited the current demographic, because now that we were pushing other things front and forward, like color and like artistry, that sort of renewed their interest in part of the brand that they may not necessarily have been buying. So we also got a larger share of the wallet, if you will.
Right.
Because, as you know, Estee Lauder is incredibly famous for their skincare, but they're not as known for their makeup, which is actually incredibly, incredibly good makeup. So that turned into my first executive-level job with Bobbi Brown. So I was no longer the person driving around all over California with gift with purchase collateral falling out of my windows. I was now, in my mind, I thought, now I'm going to have someone like me to work with me. However, switching to an artistry brand was very different, because they just didn't, it was a new brand at the time, so they just didn't have all the layers that Estee Lauder had, which, looking back now, is probably a good thing, because the entire industry has shifted toward a more linear system where there's less people in the field. So at that time, Bobbi was relatively new but incredibly hot. So I had the L.A., Orange County, and San Diego region, and we were still a small company. So Bobbi herself would come and do personal appearances, which were incredibly large events. She really focused on the Neiman Marcus on Wilshire Boulevard. So I got to spend a lot of time with her, which was super exciting, because a lot of times when companies are exploding, you rarely get to spend that much time with the founder.
Right.
And Bobbi was so lovely, and in the 90s, she didn't necessarily know the business that well herself, because it had grown so quickly.
Right.
But she treated us all, she really treated us like her family. She didn't really understand the titles, and she didn't really differentiate between a regional and an executive. She just treated us like we were all these hardworking people out there trying to accomplish the same mission, which was incredibly refreshing.
Right, right. So what were some of the key things that you learned from working that closely and being able to have a chance to work closely with founders of brands?
Great question, Patty. One of the things that Bobbi built her reputation on was just honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Bobbi was a salesperson, but she didn't believe in overselling. Her entire mantra was, give the client what they need and want, but you don't have to overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
So in most cosmetic companies, you go for this thing called, you just continually sell until people say no. That's not how Bobbi was. Bobbi created the girlfriend experience, which just said, hey, we're here to service you. What would you like? We'll take really great care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so from her, I really actually learned more about sales because that practice really built a better relationship with the customer.
Right.
They stuck around longer. They trusted us more. So working closely with Bobbi really taught me a lot about building a client relationship and building it off of trust, because that's why people really related to her. And then, after working with Bobbi, I went to work with Jeanine Lobell of Stila. And Jeanine was a Hollywood makeup artist, incredibly successful, but she wasn't necessarily a cosmetic businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really took from Jeanine was take risks. Take all the risks you want, and as long as it's not too expensive and no one gets hurt, we can either make great success from it or we can either learn from it. So that was something I really took from her, because when you work for a Lauder or a Lancôme, you don't really take those risks. It all sort of comes down from the top.
Right.
So, for instance, with Jeanine, we did a huge artistry event in New Orleans, and we had all these crazy things. First of all, it was New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So we had shirtless dancers everywhere with sparkly Stila tattooed all over them. All of our artists had on costumes. We had DJs and bubble machines, and it was really just over the top.
Uh-huh.
But we were an artistry brand, and that's what she wanted. She said, do what's going to excite the customer. They're coming here to get away from what's going on in their life and to feel better. So she said, your job is to make sure that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I really learned just the art of risk-taking. And I think that's been very valuable in my career as I've just sort of continued to take risks. So...
And I would think that whole process, those taking of risk, and also having had this success, you've sort of developed an eye for success in beauty. Can you share with us what are some of those lessons?
Sure. As you know, the beauty industry is rapidly changing. And what people don't really remember is the beauty industry was rapidly changing in the 90s and 2000s as well. It was just changing a little differently. It was changing within the brick-and-mortar space.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's obviously changing outside of that space. But within that space, you constantly had to course correct, because the 90s was the age of the makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jeanine Lobell of Stila, Laura Mercier, Trish McAvoy, Bobbi Brown. So I learned how to be nimble and how to constantly change the way we were doing business, the way we were talking to our customer. In artistry, there's a lot of business built on trend, so you didn't really learn. You didn't go as deep into products, because a lot of times they were here this season, gone the next.
Mm-hmm.
You just really focused on getting them into the customer's hands when the customer wanted them. So sort of my takeaway was always be nimble and sort of always be looking over your shoulder, because there's so much great activity happening that if you don't stay on top of it, you'll just get left behind.
Right.
And, there's some of those great brands that if you look back, they didn't evolve. And, lack of involvement creates a stale brand, which then you lose consumers, and then you just sort of exist. And just existing alone is not enough excitement to grow a brand.
And that's such an interesting point, because I know as I've developed websites, for example, American Made Beauty just came on as an e-commerce site in July of this year, and someone said to me, a website is dead the moment it goes live. And I think that applies, too, as it relates to beauty brands, that they constantly need to be elevated and activated, and that's what you're saying in terms of being nimble and looking over your shoulder. shoulder in terms of what's happening next.
You're exactly right. And something we constantly are telling our clients at the agency is every single day matters as far as content and noise are concerned, because the brands that create the most noise in the digital space are the brands that stay relevant. And you can create that noise in a variety of ways. In the 90s...
Hold on. And Murphy, hold on with that thought, because we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll pick that right up, and you'll tell us what those things are from the 90s as compared to today. So stay with us. We'll be right back with this exciting conversation with Murphy Brown of the Better Skin Co.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. This is Patty Smucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm delighted to have with me today Murphy Bishop, founder of Bleu Brand Development and CEO and co-founder of the Better Skin Co. Murphy, we were talking in our first segment about the amazing experience that you've had working with all sorts of brands in your earlier days, and today that a lot of people are forgetting that there was a lot of change going on in cosmetics in the 90s, and you would tell people that every single day matters with content and noise in order to make a brand relevant. Tell us a little bit about how that applies to brands today.
Sure, Patty. In the 90s and early 2000s, brands would do huge PR events. And at these PR events, every editor would come, important people, and they would write about these events, and you would get your press, and that was how you created your buzz. Well, with the digital age, the Internet, as we all know, runs 24/7, and to constantly refresh it with information takes a lot of work. However, consumers, influencers, and the press have very short attention spans, so they want to talk about the hottest and the newest thing going on. So as a brand owner, it's up to us to constantly be pushing out fresh, new content and figuring out ways to spin our message so that literally, daily, we have new things going out into the webosphere to get people to talk about them. Because at the moment where you do not have content going out, you sort of, it's like anything, you sort of begin to slide down in the rankings, and obviously the closer you are to the top, the more consumers that are going to find you. And we really coach our clients on the need for content and what that looks like to develop that content, because when you say content, people have these just horrible images in their mind of writing a 4-page blog or what have you. And that's absolutely not it at all. You can have just, small quotes going out. You can have something about ingredients. You can repurpose press you have. You can repurpose reviews you're getting. You can take your brand story and continually spin it. It's really just about taking the information and creating a tornado of it so that you're constantly pushing something out.
Right.
And with our brand, we do that, and we have a partner who works in PR. We also have a partner who does our social media, and we are constantly having conversations with them about what does the next week look like? What do we all own to get this content out there? And it really, really seems to work. And I think it's also, if you look at some of those brands that have been around for a long time, some of them are doing incredibly well with this, whereas others, which are lovely brands, you really don't hear that much about. And if you track that back to their digital sales, you will realize that it has impacted them, because as we continue to see a correction in the brick-and-mortar business, it's up to us as brand owners to do two things. We have to do what we can do to stabilize and try to grow our brick-and-mortar business, but we also have to realize that our digital business is the flagship to the world, so we have to figure out how to make that the number one place that your customer wants to see you, whether that's on your website, on Amazon, on another partner's website, but it's really about constantly giving them something new to pique their interest.
Right. So, and that makes amazing sense, and you simplify it in terms of helping brands to understand that in order to be relevant, you've got to recognize that the digital environment, different from the brick and mortar, is open 24/7, and so constantly being relevant. Now let's shift gears a little bit, Murphy, because I know that you've been involved with many other brands, but this recently you made a decision to really put your focus into a brand that started really with one major hero product. Tell us a little bit about the Better Skin Co.
Sure. The Better Skin Co. is a brand that now has 3 products, with a 4th product launching. And let me just start by saying anyone can launch a brand, but in my experience, you have to have a reason for being, because your reason for being is where you're going to draw your content, your inspiration. It's really going to drive everything you do. And before this, I had never really had a reason for being for a brand. And then one day at Thanksgiving lunch, I met my now business partner, Natalia, and Natalia was literally selling this cream out of her kitchen. Women were buying it, and they were spending $40 on a plastic tub of cream. And I have to be honest, I thought, this is really cool and creepy all at the same time. And you hear these stories, but I'd never seen one. And so I started talking to Natalia, and she had been making that cream for almost 20 years. And she started in her home country of Uzbekistan. Then she moved to America. She started selling it again there to help support her family, and people were buying it. And so before the age of social media really kicked in, she had a huge fan base. So I thought, this is really interesting. Here's something that people from here to Uzbekistan are buying. We should really see about bringing this to the market. So, I talked to Natalia. We discussed her initial formula, which was all natural, and we said, all right, let's take this all natural formula and let's give it a boost so that we can really enter the market and compete with people that are currently in the market. So we took it to a lab and we added peptides, which are your collagen builders, hyaluronic acid, so you sort of have that drink of water for the face. And then we partnered with a company called Sederma, and Sederma has a property called Wonderlight. And Wonderlight is a plant-based brightening ingredient that after about 30 days you can see an improvement in hyperpigmentation. So we took these peptides, hyaluronic acid, and this Wonderlight, and we combined it with her all-natural ingredients to create sort of this super cream.
Mm-hmm.
And Natalia is a master esthetician, and she's been working on skin for as long as she's been making this cream, and we really believe that it's what's in your products that count,
mm-hmm.
not necessarily how many products you put on people. And so something that's always happened throughout my career is you got people into a routine. You said, okay, here's your cleanser, here's your toner, here's your day cream, here's your night cream, here's your eye cream. And that's the way that we sold products. However, as times have shifted, people really watch how much they spend, and we live in an age of convenience. They want something that will do more for less. So we said, let's bring this to market and tell people that if you have a good cleanser and this cream, you've got a skincare routine. We're going to give you permission to basically use 2 products for great skin. Because part of one of the challenges at brick and mortar was brick and mortar heavily sells to people. So once you're in there and you meet a sales associate, they start prescribing what you need.
Right.
Well, the reason people buy online is because they can get what they think they need and what they want without having the noise around it.
Right.
So we launched this one product. Natalia was written up in the Huffington Post, and then our business literally took off.
Mm-hmm.
We were instantly just selling tons of jars. We then were featured as a holiday gift pick on the Wendy Williams show, and then we sold out, which was the first time we'd ever sold out. So, we reordered, and it just really took off from there.
And it's just so exciting that they're the key elements. And we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about those those red flags or green flags, if you will, that sort of came up that let you know that you had a success. This whole idea that you had this wonder cream, and all of a sudden you've got this positioning that giving people permission to use fewer products. It sounds like you really put together a plan that allowed you to break through the noise.
Correct.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that development process and how that has continued to help allow Murphy to build the brand. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Hi, thanks for staying with us. This is Patty Smucker, and you're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm here with Murphy Bishop. He's the founder of Bleu Brand Development and CEO and co-founder of the Better Skin Co. So, Murphy, we've talked a little bit about some of the things that you did to sort of break through the noise and identify something that made this brand unique. I'm really delighted that our audience is being able to hear sort of a master class from one of the masters on how to bring a unique product to market and break through the noise. Tell us a little bit more about that development process that allowed you to get the attention of someone like the Huffington Post.
Sure. Well, Patty, one of the things I want to point out, because this happens every day at our agency, people come to us with a budget to launch a brand. However, their budget usually drops off the day the product goes live on their website.
Right.
And what we advise clients is, you need to take 75% of your budget for the marketing for the first year your product is out and only spend 25% to get it to market.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we advise that is because with the digital age, it allows everybody entry into the market. So if people can't find you, they can't buy you.
Right.
So, there used to be an old adage that if you buy it, they will, or if you make it, they will come. That doesn't really apply anymore because there's too many people making it.
Right.
So
market's too busy, absolutely, and it is. Yeah, and we say that making it's the easy part. Making it successful is where the real art comes in.
Correct. And something that we do with our company, which allowed us to get things like the Huffington Post. First of all, we went out and we found what we believe to be great people to do the things that I'm not a specialist in or that Natalia's not a specialist in. So we found a great social media person. We found a great PR person. And we found a great graphics person to help us create content. And we really just all got together and we said, let's plan our content calendar and how we're going to launch this and what we're going to talk about so that we can get our brand out there into the public. And it absolutely worked. And I know oftentimes people get scared when you say, well, you need to do social, you need to do PR. What I can tell you is, if you talk to your friends and friends of friends, you will find these people that can help you, and they will help you at an affordable price.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to keep looking. You have to turn over every stone until you find that right person. So we put this content plan into place, and we launched. And it was our PR person is very good at proactively seeking the next story. Because a lot of times people will say, we've got this one product, you can't possibly talk about that anymore. Well, we can talk all day long because our one product has what we believe to be over 25 cures and counting.
Mm-hmm.
And we got those 25 cures from our customers. We didn't just make it up. We said, how are you using this? And they said, this is how.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just take every bit of information we have and spin it into something that might be interesting to someone else. And Patty, I really think people get hung up and they'll say, like, well, should we talk about this? It may not interest most of the people. Well, we live in a really, really big consumer economy, a giant world. It's really not always about talking to most of the people. It's about talking to the right people. So
such an important, really important point. You know, you can't talk to everybody or be all things to everybody. So, like you just said, talking to the right people.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we really said, what are the marketing pillars of our brand? Well, we're clean beauty. We don't say that we're all natural. We say that we're clean. We follow the industry's strictest formula ingredient list that qualifies clean beauty. So we said, let's look for those people who are interested in clean products. So we talk about that. We talk a lot about Natalia and her story because it truly is a great coming to America story. When we launched the brand, she got her citizenship. She's a strong, powerful woman, so we talk a lot about that. And we really bring our consumers inside of the company with us, and that's how we keep this buzz going. And we strategically choose if we're going to do like a trade show or a press event or those different types of things. We don't try to do everything. And we recently have really ramped up our influencer marketing. And when I say influencer marketing, we're not out there trying to reel in the Kylie Jenners of the world to talk about us. Again, we went out to people who would be our customer and said, hey, we've got this great product. We'd love for you to try it out. And I have to say that has been a huge success. Our number one referring site to our website is YouTube. And
interesting.
YouTube absolutely sends the most people to our website because we have all of these influencers talking about us. So that's sort of been our strategy to get it out there. And every month we just get a little smarter, and then we just do it a little more and a little more. And that's the reason we launched a cleanser, because our clients said, look, you've told me I just need a cleanser in this cream. Where's my cleanser?
Right.
So we launched a multi-purpose cleanser. You can use it as a cleanser, scrub, or mask.
And what's nice is that you've launched something into a market that's already asking for it, which is very exciting. Now I know that you are also on eVine. Tell us a little bit about what is eVine and how has that worked for the brand?
Sure. So eVine is a home shopping channel. Most people know QVC, HSN, and then there's eVine. eVine is the smaller of the three, but they are the most welcoming to an emerging brand. And, you know, consumers may not know, but home shopping can be incredibly difficult to navigate, and that's really an area where you're only as good as your last show. Well, the kind people at eVine are really into brand building. So although they want you to perform right out of the gate, they don't throw you out if you don't. They give you enough time to tell your story so you can bring their consumer into your story and hopefully turn that into a sale. So for us, it's been incredibly good. Our first, 2 shows were a little slow, but ever since those 2, since we've really got the rhythm down, we've had probably about a 95% sellout rate. And it's going so well that we're moving to our own show in March. So we'll go from being a 10-minute segment in a beauty hour to being our own beauty hour. So that's huge for a brand our size. And also, whenever we're on eVine, all of our other retailers, so Urban Outfitters, Derm Store, Soft Surroundings, they all see a lift in their business. So it's been a win-win for us and our other partners.
Right. And it's just, as we wrap up this segment, the putting all of those pieces together and being able to constantly create relevant information, creating that buzz, and then having these various different channels, little by little you're building momentum for the brand. It's very exciting to see. All right, so we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that direct TV experience and other channel partners that Murphy is developing. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Hi, this is Patty Smucker, and you're here with us on RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. We've just had a great conversation from a master of brand building, Murphy Bishop. He's the founder of Bleu Brand Development and CEO and co-founder of the Better Skin Co. Murphy, in the last segment, we were talking about your experience on eVine, a form of direct TV where people can go on and actually buy your product. Tell us a little bit about how that experience has been and some of the key learnings that you've developed from that experience.
Sure. That experience has been a great learning experience because, you know, most of my experience had been in traditional retail, which in my opinion is still highly important. And I really have, from that experience, I've really taken away, I've really learned how to connect with people that I can't see or feel, but I know they're there and I know who they are.
Interesting.
And I think that's highly valuable because if you think about it, we're doing the same thing every day on our digital platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just pushed me to further heighten my senses around that. And it also has made me a much better business person because, as I mentioned, when we're on eVine, our other channels do really well. So now, before we go on, I make sure everyone knows. I make sure all of our other partners know what our deal is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people would say, "Oh, well, why would you do that?" I think transparency is important, and it builds good relationships. So I let them know what it's going to be, so that for those couple of days while we're on, they can put their best foot forward. They can put us on their homepage. They can put us in an e-blast, so that sort of everyone can benefit from it.
So what you're saying is the other companies that are representing your brand, when you go on TV, you're letting them know in advance what you're going to be offering, so they can capitalize on that as well.
Absolutely, and they won't be able to offer the same thing, but they can put us front and forward because people will be looking for us. And our the search for our brand when we're on air goes up something like 3,000%.
Right.
So whichever one of those guys are coming up at the top, they're going to start to get business because even though people see us on TV, they still want to research and learn more, and that's where this overflow business goes to these other retailers. And the ones that put their best put forward during these TV events are the ones that, quite frankly, capture the residual sales.
Right. Well, and it sounds like you have that another part of this key strategy. You've given us some really, really great lessons in this conversation, but one of the other key strategies is that you have strong partnerships and multiple partnerships. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, our first brick and mortar and first website partner was Urban Outfitters. And Urban Outfitters skews rather young. However, based on the fact that our cream can be used as a primer and you get treatment benefits, you tie into our message of that, of just keep it simple, use this, and feel good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It really resonated with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been with Urban Outfitters about 16 months now online. We have not had a single month online where we have not sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been going very well. And we also went out to all the different bloggers and vloggers who talk about Urban Outfitters, and we got them products so they could help us keep that conversation going. And we're also with Dermstore, who's been a wonderful partner. We're in Soft Surroundings, which is one of the country's largest catalogs with over 50 retail locations around the country. We can be found in some local shops like juice bars, places like Larchmont Beauty, other beauty-type stores, and then our Evine business as well as our website business, which is very healthy.
Well, it strikes me that all of these partners are really very diverse.
Right, and I think we have to remember that, sort of like I said, as long as you're talking to people that are the right people, because the customers are out there and they might all be in different places. You can like healthy, clean beauty and be shopping at Urban Outfitters. You don't have to be shopping at the juice bar, because you might also like fast fashion, and that's where you go to get that.
Right.
So the fact that you can find your clean beauty there is a little bit of a surprise and a delight. So that's kind of how we look at it. And we do, every retailer we join, we find those bloggers and vloggers that talk about those retailers, and we make sure we get them product so they can let their fans know, hey, look, you can now find this brand at your favorite retailer. That's
great. And so long term, do you find that this strategy in terms of multiple partners and diverse partners are key to your overall success?
Patty, I absolutely think it is. I think that we will continue to keep a very tight assortment because we don't want to be over-skewed and we want to stick to our multi-purpose mantra. But I also think retail brick and mortar will continue to course correct. So as we sort of selectively choose where we go, along with building our web business, it allows us to flex as those corrections take place. So, for instance, if one of our partners should not make it in the current environment, we as a brand will be absolutely fine because we've sort of hedged our bets and we've developed strong relationships with these other people. So all of our apples are not in the same basket.
Exactly. And you found that reason for being, which is giving people permission to use less, which is very much relevant in the marketplace today.
Absolutely, and so we really stress, like, if you go on our website, you can see the different reasons you can use each product, and we also tell you how to use each product. So it really works well, and I think people really appreciate just the clear and transparent honesty in it.
Right. And so if someone was interested in getting learning more in terms of your consulting services, how can they contact you for that type of work?
Absolutely. You can visit our website. It's just Bleu, BLEU, branddevelopment.com, and all of our contact information is on there. We talk to everyone, so if you have an idea, feel free to call us. We'll be happy to chat about it. And then if you'd like to learn more about our brand, you can find us at thebetterskinco.com. We currently are working with the American Cancer Society, so anyone who purchases our Miracle Cream this month, which is our number one SKU, we are giving 20% of that to the American Cancer Society.
Great. And, of course, the brand is also available on American Made Beauty. So we're very excited to be one of your partners as well. Murphy, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to give us a great lesson in brand building and for the work that you continue to do to make the world beautiful.
Thank you, Patty.
All right. Well, that's our exciting show for today, and we are really looking forward to next week when we will have the President, Chris Krellin, of the American Beauty Awards, as well as the Emmy Award-winning makeup artist Mike McCash will be with us. So join us next week. I'm Patty Smucker. Thank you for listening to Radio AMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Obstacle racing. You know you want to try it. Well, try Reebok's Spartan Race, the global leader in obstacle racing. With 4 different race levels, their goal is to get you up off the couch and throw you into the mud and on the trails to give you the adrenaline rush of your life. Obstacle courses are designed to test your resilience, strength, stamina, quick decision-making skills, and give you the ability to laugh in the face of adversity. Visit HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Spartan Race.
HealthyLife.net, the Positive Radio Network.